FEMA camps for the homeless, I say. Pack 'em in, shake 'em off, and breathe. Now don't you feel better?
We do not have to worry about those pesky, nasty losers who are nothing but an eyesore on our city.
Take back the city. No more bums asking for money. Damn them. They are probably living high off the hog with no taxes. Serves them right. They are just useless scum. Just another black piece of trash. Oh, don't help that white man. Others will.
Fucking Mexicans, they come to this country and take our jobs. I ain't giving them a damn thing.
Doesn't that Indian have a reservation he can go to? I ain't giving him a dime. Heck, I've already spent plenty in their casinos.
Whew! Did you catch wind of that stench? I don't get it. Why don't they just pull themselves up by the bootstraps? If I can do it, surely they can. This is America! This is America! Many in this country have, to their dismay, a very fragile existence. Each day is a struggle for survival, which can be further complicated by missing a few paychecks. Many are waking up and realizing that the carrot at the end of the stick was always a whip. The American nightmare, the organic phantoms of this technological age. Many work to stay warm, to feed themselves. They can't entertain the idea of achieving a better life for themselves. Heaven forbid if they have children. These people find themselves in the twilight zone. Reality has smashed them in the face. Be a debt slave or be stigmatized. Oh, you are wondering about the slave reference. Tell me, what are you if fear replaces your incentive as motivation to work? How terribly tragic that so many think that homelessness is solely something earned by poor choices. Question: why are we so comfortable with the continual immigration within America when America is willing to make criminals out of its homeless? Now, Daddy government and its psychopaths that run it want us to justify our existence. They want us to be utterly dependent. Don't you see the contradiction? They are willing to let you starve, but are willing to spend much money in preparation of a FEMA camp so they can ship you there. They are willing to let their children, citizens, brave the elements but allow that school to stand. The one that has not been used in years but could be easily converted into apartments, designated to provide opportunities for the less fortunate. It appears you are only an American when you are able to pay for the privilege. In reality, you are seen by those in power as an anonymous face in the global village. Better face reality. I wager, due to my reasoning, that approximately 75% of all Americans are maxed out with mortgage debt, living from paycheck to paycheck. What would happen if all debts and liabilities were demanded? Right now, give it up right now. What state would you or a loved one find themselves in if inflation will reduce your paychecks until you no longer can make mortgage payments? Well, soon you would no longer be a steward of your home. No, I'm not going to play into that illusion of home ownership. This is very similar to what happens when a nation's economy collapses. The wealth of the nation doesn't disappear, it only changes hands. So, every day hundreds become homeless. I think this is fair to assume, based on our economy. Many will only have the streets to go to. The caring Americans will usher them from the streets to welfare hotels, congregate shelters, and if you are mentally ill, transitional housing. We then can write it off. They are out of sight, out of mind. However, once in the shelter, they become wards of the social service system. Of course, this will come with food and a bed to sleep in, but someone has to pay for this. So, in exchange for food and shelter, they are put to work where they can collect no additional salary. This welfare reform action will find many of them fellow Americans, fellow human beings, being put to work for private companies. There, they will earn enough to compensate the cost of their food and shelter. After all, they should consider themselves lucky just to get the bare minimum requirements for survival, right? Do you see the obvious? If the economy does collapse, we just won't have more homeless. The government will receive a different breed of slave. Hey, they got to get something out of saving the poor. Don't worry, it will all be legal. They can blame this slavery on the economy. Then you can thank your feudal lords. Back in 2009, a report called Hunger and Homeless in U.S. Cities was composed under the title The U.S. Conference of Mayors. It stated, quote, "Hunger and homelessness are at record levels in U.S. cities," end quote. It did cite that there was a 26% overall demand increase over the past year and 19% more homelessness. I can't imagine what the figures look like today. I am sure that Washington's priorities excludes them. Oh, and for you family-oriented people, listen up. Can you imagine the considerable stress a family would experience who is homeless? Many would have to move frequently. Assuming that they could not get aid, they would be forced to sleep in cars, campgrounds, or wherever they could get shelter. It is easy to imagine that homelessness would increase the likelihoods of family separation and breakups. Of course, this adds to the intolerable circumstances they are already facing, and the added stress creates a barrier for a family reunification. Soon, many people will be lining up for their Black Friday sales, Christmas shopping, and after Christmas shopping, but I doubt that they will be considering their homeless brothers and sisters. Yeah, some may volunteer to put baskets together or provide a meal at a shelter, but for many that's simply a selfish pleasure, something they do to make themselves feel better. Now they can go back to their friends and boast about how they gave of themselves. That really isn't a true act of kindness. And what happens during the other parts of the year? Where does that leave the people who suffer from poverty, job loss, home foreclosure, loss of public assistance, divorce, domestic violence, drug or alcohol abuse, serious illness, the lack of emergency help? We will have to step up. We are the solution. By now, surely you know the federal government doesn't give a damn. Just something to chew on in the comfort of your own home. Thank you for listening.